Welcome back to another episode of Popcorn Heroes. And with me today, we got Armando.
What's up, man? What's happening?
What's up? And today we're going to be discussing Xbox Showcase that happened a few weeks ago. And we're going to just be talking about Xbox and also PlayStation 5 and the lead up to the consoles.
Yeah, just the games in general.
Armando, what do you think about the showcase? Yeah. What did you think about the showcase overall?
For the Xbox, I mean, presentation-wise, it was good, but I didn't enjoy it. The games, at least. I mean, you had the Ninja Theory game. What's the name of that one? Blade.
What is it?
Setsuna.
No, it's Setsuna, right? No.
I don't know, something like that. I forgot the name of the game. Anyways, that game, it looks good. But still, I don't really see much, man. Like, I still don't know why they bought the Psychonauts publisher. Developer. I mean, Psychonauts wasn't really a good game to begin with, at least in my opinion, and never really went anywhere. I think the first one sold pretty well. Then after that, I don't think it sold good at all. So I don't know why would you buy them if there was no potential. For me, I don't think there's any potential there. But then also Halo didn't look good at all to me. I mean, it looked like the same old fucking Halo. I don't. There's nothing next gen about that Halo game, and I feel like I've seen that trailer before, or at least the beginning of it before.
Do you play Halo? Have you played?
I've played some of them.
Halo?
I've played them and I've seen them, and it looks like every other fucking Halo game. There's nothing different about this game. It looks exactly the same, and I'm just like, what are you guys doing, man? What are you offering that's different in this new Halo for next gen? People have been waiting an entire generation for this game, and you haven't, and it's the most of you giving out. I don't know, man.
I mean, I think visually it might not look as impressive as some of the games that we've seen.
It looks like every other Halo game.
But I mean, Halo has a look to it, though. That's the thing. Halo has a certain look. Halo has a certain flair to it, and so I feel like you're kind of stuck in a hard place where you don't want to make too many changes to the aesthetics of it, because then you're viewed as going too far from what is the art of Halo,
sure. I mean,
and what is expected.
The thing about Halo has always looked good. Always, even from like the very first game, that shit has always looked good. That's not what I'm like contemplating. Saying here is just, I'm not saying change up the way that it looks. You can't. It's Halo. It has to look a certain way, but it doesn't look next gen to me. It doesn't look crispy. It doesn't look great. It just looks like everything has come before. There's nothing visually. It doesn't look as good as it should be, and it shouldn't, or as good as it should be after all these years. Pretty much Halo skipped a generation, right? I don't think Halo.
No, Halo 5 came out for Xbox One
at the beginning of the gen, though, right?
Nah, it came out late in the. If you think about it, these consoles have been out for almost like 6-7 years. Halo 5, I believe, came out like midway, like 2 years into
Halo
the console
5,
on 2 or 3 years.
Halo 5 came out in 2015. It's like 2 years after the consoles dropped.
Yeah.
So
exactly, yeah. So that's not like a big. That's like not right when it dropped. That's like 2 years is a big difference.
Yeah. So 16, 17. I
think what it is about this one is, and I think we have to get away from like maybe like graphics in terms of, at least for Xbox, because what they're doing is a bit different. They want to make sure that like wherever you play, you can play Halo. So obviously it's not like as impressive as Ratchet and Clank for PS5, or it's not like that good looking, but I think it's because they want to make sure that Halo's optimized for for all the consoles that they're going to launch on. Like, I have an original Xbox, meaning I could play original Xbox One, meaning I can play Halo Infinite when it comes out.
Yeah.
So, and I also think is that when we look at open world games, they're not always as pretty or as good looking as games that are like very like singular focus, narrative driven. Yeah, more linear games. Like when you look at even now, me and you are playing Ghost, and the character models in Ghost look like
they're not the
kind of
best.
shitty.
Yeah,
it's a good looking game. It's a stunning game, and then there are times when you like focus on the small details, and you're like, oh, this looks off.
Yeah.
And I think Halo's gonna be that kind of game where it looks stunning, but if you like focus too much on like a small detail, you're gonna be like off put. So I think that's why I think it doesn't look as good as, especially and it was what we saw was in beta, so it's kind of hard to judge like a game that's not out yet and it's also in beta. So I'm sure like down the line it's gonna look like a great game, and like I said, you really can't change the aesthetics that much. Like, and you have to think about it, like Xbox Halo came out during a time where like the original Xbox, where like you're still working with like polygon shapes, kind of, you know. So like you still see that like polygon like structure in like the Warhog and, you know, Master Chief and the guns. Like you still see like that cube like look, but it's what Halo is though. So you can't make it like super smooth and super like clean looking, because you might lose some of that artistic original design that you first started off with.
But also like gameplay wise, there's nothing different about it either. I don't think I don't know. It just looks samey.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to Halo though, you don't want to mess around with it too much either. Because Halo also, like the gameplay of Halo is fucking. It's like we played Destiny. Destiny's a good shooter, right?
Oh, and
it's fluid and it's kinetic. A lot of Destiny reminds me of Halo, and then when it changed, it's like if you made Halo into Destiny, the people who are hardcore Halo fans would complain because like this is not Halo. Like, why am I like flying around? Why am I in third person? Why do I have all these weird abilities that I didn't used to have? Like, you had to kind of Halo's stuck between a rock and a hard place because they want to move what Master Chief is and how he plays differently and how he looks a bit differently, but they're stuck in between like, don't change too much because your fan base likes this.
Yeah.
It's like Call of Duty. Call of Duty plays like Call of Duty all the time, but you never hear anyone complaining about it because it's fucking smooth and it fucking runs well. People who play Halo, they're looking for that kind of game.
Yeah.
They're not looking for you to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, you're right.
And if you do, then it's if you make Halo faster or more kinetic or you add a bunch of different things, then people are gonna like complain that you're doing too much. Yeah. That you're trying to make Halo like every other like shooter out right now. You know, so I think the grappling hook is a cool feature that they added.
Yeah.
I think it's probably for traversal reasons, obviously, and it adds a different new gameplay element. Like, that's different.
Yeah. But
you just can't change what Halo is too much, because I think the fan base is just too rigid in what they like.
Yeah, you're right. It just didn't look good to me, to be honest with you, man. I was looking at it and I was just kind of like this is the next gen Halo game. I was kind of disillusioned by it. It didn't capture me, you know. So that's what I didn't like about it. But apart from that, I mean, the showcase itself was pretty good, like presentation wise, like I mentioned earlier. But games wise, I mean, they're fucking lacking in everything. I feel like Xbox is really behind on the curve. I mean, they didn't show anything that, you know, maybe be like, damn, I would like to get an Xbox to play that game, you know? I didn't feel like that at all. Which is unfortunate, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think what Xbox is doing is a bit different. I think at this point, Xbox is no longer trying to sell you a console. Yeah, they're just trying to sell you a service. Yeah, they want to sell you a service. They want to sell you their Netflix. And I think in that regard, they're doing everything right. Like they have I think in my opinion, a wide enough catalog that you're reaching a lot of people. Like for example, like the game that they announced called Grounded. I think they had a beta or an early access, yeah, and it was like the most Twitch stream game. Like it got like a lot of people playing it, like, and so like
I mean, I think that's one of their smartest purchases was buying Obsidian.
Right, but it's also like I said, like it's like they're not trying to like have this like console seller. I think they're not trying to do that anymore. I think what they're doing is check out all of these unique and different games, and they're all coming to Game Pass. Like everything that was announced was coming to Game Pass. Yeah. Like regardless, is like Game Pass right now, like $10 a month. Ultimate is $15 a month. And in my opinion, I don't really see the point of Ultimate because, but at least for right now, yeah, xCloud is coming to it, and you can stream your games. But also, like, why would you? Most of the time, for me, I wouldn't stream a game on a tablet or my phone. That's just not gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, that service is for people who are always out and about and would like to play games, and they don't want to take a console.
Exactly. And I'm just talking for me personally. I wouldn't do it. I wonder if with xCloud, can you just stream in general without downloading? Like, I'm wondering if that's because they didn't really say that. They said you can like stream on your phone and tablet, but like, okay, but what if I don't have? Can I stream on my Xbox? They didn't really say that.
Who knows?
They're kind of they're just saying it as if like, in addition to playing games on your console, you could stream on your phone and tablet. But like, what if I don't want to stream on my console? Is that possible? I'm sure it is. I don't see why not.
Yeah, probably.
And in that regard, I might be interested in that. But yeah, I mean, I think in general, definitely, like, I think they did sell me on the price on like someone who has an Xbox. Like, I would definitely, I'm gonna probably, when Halo comes out, I'll probably subscribe to.
It's like what I've been saying, dude. If you're an Xbox console gamer, not like you, who you're predominantly a PlayStation gamer and have Xbox to play Xbox stuff. But I'm saying if you're only an Xbox gamer, there's no reason why you shouldn't have Game Pass, because Game Pass gives you so much fucking value that it's there's no reason why you don't have it. There really isn't. You get every game day one that comes to like Xbox exclusive day one on Game Pass. You get other games on top of that on the service. I know, so sometimes they rotate in and out, but whatever. You still have opportunity to play hundreds of games for a price of what, $10, $15 a month. I'm just kind of like, that's cheap as hell. I don't understand why no one has, like, if you have an Xbox, you should have that service. You should. If I was an Xbox gamer, I would have that. I mean, like, why would I buy any game ever again when I have Game Pass for $15 a month? It's insane. It's an insane deal.
And yeah, exactly. It is, and I think that's what their selling point was. Everything is coming to Game Pass. Everything's going to be first on Game Pass. And I think that's what they're driving for. Like, I don't think they're in it anymore to sell consoles. Like, we know that, like, consoles, you lose money on consoles. It's rare that you ever make money back on your console.
You make it late in the generation.
Right. So if that's the case, like why even, why do that? Like, why try to sell a console when you know it's gonna take a while? It's gonna take a while for you to see an investment on it.
Yeah.
If you sell a service, you're gonna see an instant return.
Yeah. What I am interested in is go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, and for example, like Game Pass right now, the Ultimate. Let's say they're gonna and even right now, like they're branding. They're no longer calling it Xbox Game Pass. It's just Game Pass. Because they know that like they're gonna try to sell this to everything and everywhere. Like, it's gonna be on everything.
Yeah.
So in general, like, how many games do you think you buy like a year? like brand new games.
Brand
Like
new?
maybe 3 or 4.
Nah, not even. I mean, this year alone, I only bought Last of Us full price and Ghost of Tsushima. That's it.
And you might buy
That's $120 right there.
Cyberpunk.
And I might buy
Yeah, you might buy Cyberpunk.
Yeah, and right there's what,
So,
180?
so right, and then so in a year, I would say like average, you probably buy like 3 games.
Yeah,
You know,
depending.
three or 4 games. Yeah, I would say so.
Because last year I didn't really buy anything because I don't think anything came out last year, right? That was a no.
Not of anything of consequence. Yeah, last year was kind of like a weird year for games.
It's kind
But, like,
Red Dead,
but
right?
2017 definitely.
Red Dead came out last year, right?
No, I think Red Dead was 2018.
Okay, I bought Red Dead full price. But
Alright, well, the average. We can easily say the average. We both game a lot. We can say the average about 2 or 3 games a year.
yeah, but I do, but I do buy a lot of cheap games on sale. So
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So let's just say like he's probably spent like
But-
180, maybe 200.
yeah, let's just say full price $60 game, brand new, like 2-3 times a year.
Right, and then like I said, like if you buy stuff that's used or on sale, you're probably easily spending $180 to $200 a year
Yeah,
on video
for
games.
sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Easy. So Game Pass Ultimate for a year is 180.
It's 185, I think.
And already to like, no, it's 180. I just did the math.
Right? Okay.
And so, yeah, so they literally have like announced like 18 games coming to Game Pass. And yeah, of course that's not right away, but that's of course probably in the first like year or 2. So by 2021 you're gonna have like at the end of 2021 maybe, or in 2022 all of the stuff is gonna probably be out.
Yeah.
So you have 18 games that are automatically gonna come to your subscription, and not only that, you're gonna have games that they're adding monthly.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, why not?
Yeah, and I think Destiny is free on Game Pass now too, and the expansions and all that shit.
So Destiny, they announced that Destiny is gonna come with all its DLC in September, and even the new DLC Beyond Light is gonna come out with it.
That's insane.
And Destiny is huge.
Yeah, it's a massive game.
Beyond Light, the Beyond Light is
It's changing it
they're
up.
pretty much. They're changing it up, but they're pretty much calling it like their next like game, basically. Like this is Beyond Light is supposed to be Destiny 3.
Yeah, essentially.
If Activision had their way, that would have been Destiny 3. So you're getting all of that with Game Pass. So yeah, I agree with you. I don't think that the showcase sold me on buying an Xbox,
Nah, for sure.
but
it didn't.
it did sell me on buying into the ecosystem.
Oh hell yeah, dude! Like I keep saying, if I had it, that'd be the first thing I buy is a Game Pass. There's no reason not to have it, and Xbox is looking to be everywhere, dude. I feel at some point Game Pass is gonna be fucking everywhere you'll see, and if that's what Xbox wants to do for their like end console generation, that's fine, dude. But I do feel that having a next gen console is important. They might want to move away from the whole console stuff because they've consistently been losing every generation, with the exception of 360 at the beginning, but at the end, PlayStation just took him over. But perception wise, Xbox won the PS3 360 generation. But regardless of that, I think they're tired of playing the second best, and I think they just like you said, they just want to be a platform now. They want to put a whole bunch of games. They want to buy studios and put all these games onto their Game Pass and just keep racking in that subscription money from everybody.
Yeah,
and
I think it's because they're probably noticing like, okay, like they're Game Pass Xbox hasn't released numbers in terms of Xbox consoles in a long time.
No way.
But they have released Game Pass numbers, and so at this point they're seeing like, okay, what's the point of a console if we can sell a service instead. And I like just some of the games they announced. They announced Avowed, the new RPG from Obsidian that looks basically like next gen Skyrim.
I'm interested in that one because it's Obsidian, and Obsidian usually does good RPGs. I mean, you played the Outer Worlds and you liked it.
Yeah, exactly. And Halo Infinite, obviously, something I'm looking forward to. And then Fable, like
oh my
already
God, yes.
those three announcements.
The announcement of Fables that got me excited. I'm like, oh shit, Fables is coming back. How amazing is that for Xbox players? That was a good one. The sweet tease.
So I think just in that alone, it sold me on the subscription. Like, I'm not gonna get Game Pass right now just because I have a lot in terms of, like, me and you, we're not like Sony fanboys, but you know, our main console is Sony, so we have too much of a back catalog, and there's just no point
in
adding more games to that. Yeah,
Sony for the all day, every day, man.
Yeah, and I think I think I'm kind of excited because each company is doing something completely different.
Yeah, Sony's sticking to their guns, and Xbox trying to change things up.
Yeah, and Xbox, I mean, so rightly so. Like, Sony doesn't. It'd be ridiculous for you to tell Sony to change it up.
They've been highly successful.
You know, like Sony came out. They're coming out. They're like, hey, all our games are PS5 exclusive. We ain't going back. You coming with us or not?
And I'm okay with that. Dude.
And they're not. Yeah, and their controller, like, oh, you want to use the PS4 controller? Ain't gonna work. PS5, you gotta buy it. Like,
and that's fine. I mean, it's happened for every single generation, you know.
Yeah, exactly. But you're right. But the thing is, I guess what consumers are looking at Sony and they're like, wow, like Xbox is really trying to be like more consumer friendly, and Sony is just like, yo. You're gonna come with us if you like it or not.
Yeah, Sony's like trying to see if people blink, and people are gonna blink, dude. They're not gonna. Yeah, Xbox might be doing all this pro consumer shit, but I want to see how many people go out there and buy the Xbox. They could be pro consumer all you want, but where are you gonna come to game? Where are the games at? You know, a lot of the people who were from 360 who joined the PlayStation 4 gen, a lot of people, I know a lot of Xbox people who jumped ship to PlayStation doing PlayStation 4, and they love their PlayStation, and they love the games they've gotten, and I haven't talked to them yet about if they're gonna jump ship or not, but the way they talk about PlayStation now is, you know, like there's no other reason why would I go anywhere else, you know.
Yeah, so, I mean, I honestly, I'm the same way. Because, like I said, like we've already seen Sony's exclusive from the PS5, and already the lineup was insane. You know, Demon's Souls remastered, people fucking love.
Yeah.
Horizon Forbidden West, Horizon 2, essentially, like the people are excited for Spider-Man Miles Morales, Ratchet and Clank with the part. Like it was back to back. Like games that people are excited for. And you
know, the funny thing is that a lot of these games that I most likely won't play them, but they look great. You know, I'm just like, oh man, I could see why people would be excited about this. And when I was looking at the Xbox stuff, I'm just like, there's only two games that I'll probably be excited for, and everything else I'm just like, how is this exciting? You know?
I mean, yeah, I think for the most part, I think it's different for. I think each announcement hit like a different audience. Like they announced, obviously, Phantasy Star Online 2, which is an old ass game, but it's coming to Xbox One, and that shit has an audience. Like that shit does have an audience. They announced. They're not Psychonauts 2, obviously.
And
like
it doesn't look good to me.
Psychonauts, I feel. It doesn't look good because it looks like an old game, and I think Psychonauts, for the most part, they should have came out a long time ago.
Yeah,
the game should have came out like 360 era, but I think there is still an audience for that. You know, like still kids, still like, you know, like I think there's an audience for that. Sensua's, I think that's her name, right? From Hellblade.
Yes.
Hellblade 2 basically got
go.
announced. And obviously
That game looked great.
Hellblade 2 obviously
Holy
is
shit.
going to be a fucking... It's going to be and I'm not sure... It looks like it's ways out because they didn't show shit. But if that game comes out, like, if they expanded on it, like, yo, this is going to be like a 40-hour game or some shit... I don't think so because the team is small. But if they did do that, like, yo, that's gonna be obviously a Game Pass seller. And this at this point, I don't even think they're trying to sell you a console. I think if you don't have a console, or you don't have a way to play these kind of games, I think obviously the Xbox Series X is gonna be there. And you know what I'm curious about for someone who owns the original Xbox is like how well are these games going to run? You know. Because while Halo Infinite looks like fucking doesn't look that great, is it gonna run great on my 7-year-old console? Basically, you know.
I mean, isn't that what you said? That Xbox doesn't really care about souping it up for anybody.
Well,
essentially,
exactly.
just
but
like,
I mean, I'm
to
like
run
at the
everywhere.
bottom. Like I am like the bare minimum they gotta hit.
Yeah.
And
But I think that
if
hinders
for
the
whatever
game.
reason. I don't think so. If it's the game they want to tell and it's the game they want to make, it doesn't really hinder the game. You know?
Well, the thing is that I feel like a game shouldn't be playing outdated tech. You know, I think that's what.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like Minecraft. Have you seen Minecraft with like ray tracing?
Oh yeah, it looks amazing. It looks beautiful.
Right. So I think it's kind of like that. Like if you could run Minecraft like with ray tracing, this shit looks fucking next gen. You know, because Minecraft like on a beefed up PC looks next gen, dude. So I think their games are going to be like that. You're gonna get like shitty mobile Minecraft looking game, and then you're gonna get like fucking super beast looking game. So I think Halo's gonna be like that. Halo's gonna be like, all right, you have the original Xbox One. All right, it's gonna look decent at best. And then when they come out 4K, all the bells and whistles for the Xbox Series X, it's gonna look fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know, for me, I don't care about what it looks like. I care about like, does it run? You know. And I think that's what they had to sell you on. They're like, all right, yeah, all this stuff is going to work, and you don't have to worry about it. And I think what you like, everything that we saw, even in Sony's presentation, yeah, it was next gen, but most of it looked current gen.
Oh, yeah.
Like most of it looked like it was possible in current gen. Maybe Ratchet and Clank
Ratchet.
obviously looked like
Ratchet Ratchet looked like something else.
Of course.
That should look great.
But you still could have made Ratchet possible. Like you could have taken some stuff away and still made Ratchet possible.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
The whole world thing, you had to take away the entire basis of the game. The whole point of that game is to rift through the worlds, and I don't think you could have pulled that off on a PlayStation 4. So your entire basis of your game is gone, if that's the crux of it. So Ratchet and Clank would not work on a PS4.
I mean, they probably could have found something, but I think for the most part, most games look like they can run on PS4. So next gen isn't about what it looks like; it's like what can you do differently? Like how can you optimize the console to like everyone's talking about loading speeds and like no limitations in that side, like no more loading. Open vastness, you don't have to like shimmy through cracks to load another part of the game. So what if Xbox Series X does the same thing? Like, hey, there's no loading screens, but if you have an Xbox One, we gotta pop in a loading screen for you every once in a while because obviously you're on the previous console.
For sure, that'd be awesome.
So, and I'm willing to make that trade off. Like, all right, fuck it, like load me up, dude. That's fine.
Yeah, no, I think that'd be awesome. That idea is awesome. It all comes down to how it is in practice. You know, the one thing about Xbox is they have good ideas, but they're too ahead of the game in some of their ideas. So hopefully this is an idea they're not ahead of the curve. hopefully the audience is there with them. You know.
Yeah, and I'm just excited in general because even like if you look at Nintendo, like Nintendo fucking is so behind, like so behind
but nobody
in terms
cares.
of
That's the thing about Nintendo.
technology.
Nintendo, nobody cares.
And exactly, but if Xbox can do the same shit, like, all right, we don't care about graphical. Obviously, Nintendo proves Nintendo is actually proof that if you have a fun game, like a fun game that appeals to massive, they don't give a fuck what it looks like. Animal Crossing is the best selling game of the year, and probably by far because they don't release digital numbers.
Yeah.
So Animal Crossing has been like on top for like number one, number two, the 1 and 2, 3 spots. So clearly they're probably like number one consistently, and Nintendo just shows you that like, yeah, you can have a decent looking game and sell bonkers as long as your mechanics work, the game is fun, like, and so like why, like, you have a Switch, like Nintendo sells you on low powered hardware every generation and people still buy it.
Yeah, well, this is the first Nintendo
So
I've
why
ever
can't
owned, though.
Okay,
I've never owned
but
a
in general,
Nintendo
but
system.
for the masses, like,
yeah.
Nintendo constantly sells low powered systems.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're constantly in the top of like console like sellers. Xbox, obviously, I don't think they're gonna ever be up there again in terms of like console sales, in terms of like making huge splashes in that way. But if they can get you behind a game and behind a service, they're gonna make money.
Oh yeah, if they could get a lot of people on that service, dude, which is amazing, they're gonna make money. They're not gonna need that much, and they could just, the consoles will be their little project, I guess, of, you know, it's a side thing. But our main business is having developers create games for our service that you subscribe to for $15 a month.
And I think it's smart though, because it's just like, if you want the best, here is the Xbox Series X. And if they don't massively produce it, then they're fine, because they're not gonna be like losing money on it. Like, they just keep their expectations like low, sell it at a good price, and yeah, whoever it sells to, just don't like, Sony already is ordering like 5 million more PS5s because they're like, yo, this shit's gonna sell like hotcakes. Mm-hmm. And Microsoft is quietly being like, yeah, it's coming out holiday, so maybe they have 2 million made, 3 million made, or whatever the case. So, like, as long as you as long as you sell your batch, like, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, as long as you sell, like, as long as you're not like fucking sitting on the shelf collecting dust, you're good.
The Wii U, essentially.
Right. And so, yeah, so I don't know, I'm really excited for what Microsoft is doing and for like what the potential of the new consoles are gonna be.
Yeah.
Especially like they announced that, you know, obviously Lockhart, their other unannounced console, is still
that's just
rumored.
gonna be dirt cheap, dude. I don't know how much it is, but it should be dirt cheap. That console needs to be just a box for you to connect to the internet, and that's it. That's what it should fucking be.
So
for $200.
They stopped producing the Xbox One X and the Xbox One S digital. So they stopped basically producing like 2 Xboxes. So what you have now is the S that they're still producing, and then you're gonna have the Series X and the Lockhart. So if the S is $300, right, the Lockhart has to be like around that price SKU.
It has to be at least $50 less than that. If the Xbox stays at $3, it's a serious.
If it's a streaming box, yeah, then it has to be less than that. But if it's not a streaming box, as if we all predict, and it's an actual console, then it could sit comfortably at $350, $400.
There's no point. Why would the fuck would I buy that? There's no point. Xbox is behind the game, so there's literally no point for me to buy a streaming box for $400 when I could buy myself a PlayStation for $100 more, or a PlayStation streaming box for $400. There's There's no
That's
point.
what we're discussing. Is if it's a streaming box, you know what I'm saying? Like, it might not be. And if it's not a streaming box and it is like an actual console,
the all digital version was a streaming box. All that shit is connected.
Essentially, I mean,
connected to the internet.
it's not a
download your
streaming
games, and that's it.
It's not a. I mean, that's not a streaming box though. It's different. It's not a streaming box.
I mean, it's essentially a streaming box, Orlando, because you can't play disc on it.
No, because if you have a hardware, if you have a hard drive, it's not streaming. Because if you could download your games, you're not streaming your games.
But that's the whole point
Xbox
of
One as
Xbox.
digital
The Xbox has always been the Xbox would. The service of Game Pass lets you download games, so they're not gonna just sell you a quarter. I'm assuming we're calling a streaming box a basic hard drive console, because that's what the S was. The all digital version was just literally a console with a hard drive in it. It didn't. That's all it did. There was no optical drive in it. It was just a basic box with a hard drive.
Like we're seeing with Sony. Sony's doing the same thing with the new PS5.
So,
they're making a digital version.
If
but
Xbox wants to at least take out Sony from the digital box perspective, they have to price it extremely cheap. The S digital was too expensive. That shit was like $250 or $300, so stupid shit like that. And I'm just kind of like, why are you pricing it that high?
It was $250.
Like, there's no point of pricing that shit too high. You're literally no point. You're behind the ball, and you're pricing your streaming box, your digital box, $50 less than your actual box. I might as well just pay an extra $50 and have an optical drive. It's just no point. Like if you say if the Xbox, if they're still gonna keep producing the S, and the S is gonna be 300, or if the S is gonna stay at 300, they have to give you that streaming digital for $200. They have to.
That's if it comes with no hard drive and it's just like a plug-in Netflix kind of Fire Stick. If it's something like what they did with the S digital, they don't have to, because some people still like to play their games and still like to download their games. So they give you an option of like, okay, hey, this can stream and download games, and it's, you know, a bit more beefier than the Xbox One S. That's on them. You know what I'm saying? Like they just have to sell it differently. Now, if it is just a streaming console with like a Fire Stick kind of situation where there's no hard drive, no nothing, then that's different. You know, but I think if they're trying to sell you another console,
that's why they didn't move any SKUs for the S digital, dude. It was too expensive. There's no point of buying the S digital. There's no point.
Right, I agree with you, but the thing is, but what I'm trying to say is that, like, it depends on what Lockhart actually is. If it's a streaming device, then yeah, it needs to be dirt cheap. But if it's not a streaming device and it's a midway between Xbox One S and Xbox Series X, then yeah, I just think it tells you more about what the general pricing of it might be. Like, once you know what Lockhart is, once we find out what it is, then we're more inclined to know what pricing might be.
So if it's a Series X minus the optical drive, you think it should be $50 less?
So basically, like what PlayStation 5 is doing.
Essentially.
I don't know, because I don't think it's that either, because why hide it for so long? If it's just an Xbox Series X with no like disc basically, like no optical drive, why keep it like under wrap for such a long time? It has to be something different. Maybe it's like low powered, you know, like less stuff inside. It has to be something completely different, because if it's the exact same thing, just no disc drive, why keep that still so under wraps when we're in August, you know?
Yeah.
So especially with the showcase that happened, like everything they were selling was like Game Pass, Game Pass, Game Pass. Basically, everything's coming to Game Pass.
Yeah.
And with the Series X, is better. Why not at the end be like, all right, and if you for those who want to just be digital, here's the Series S, which is essentially a Lockhart. I think
they have one more event to go. That's why I think they're saving it for that event.
I mean, they're doing it
in September.
Maybe they're doing an event. They're doing an event every month until like launch, but still, it has to be something different, something a bit unique. And my guess, it's either a streaming box, like the rumors are saying, or it's something between an S and the Series X, meaning it's more powerful than the S, but it's not as powerful as the X.
So
something
essentially,
in between.
The Xbox One X minus the optical drive.
Maybe. I mean, it could have an optical drive. I mean, I'm not dismissing that. It could have one. I just think it has to be like something in between. Like that's like. So
yeah, I don't know, man.
We'll see what happens when they release, but
both of these people need to start talking about prices already, because if E3 was still around and E3 would have had their event this year or whatever, because historically speaking, the E3 event is where they dropped everything. They gave you a price, they gave you the console, they gave you the games, what the console could do, all this other bullshit. All that information was dumped during a press conference in E3. So these people are holding on to a lot of stuff about these consoles very late in the game already. We would have known this in June if it was E3. So the slow pace that they're trickling all this information in is kind of irritating.
Yeah, and it's weird though because Sony is big dick Sony, like they're on top. So it's just like I understand they don't want to release their price and then it's too high, and then you get the PS3 fiasco where people are like, "Nah, this is way too much money."
That console can't be no more than $500 though. It can't.
And then Xbox comes in and they undersell you, and then you're like, "Fuck, now I jump ship for Xbox." I understand that they're in a tough position. But at this point, Xbox not really trying to sell you a console, like Sony is.
Yeah.
So like, I think Xbox can wait. Like at this point, like it's like everything, even their branding, everything they try to sell you is like the service. So I think for them, they're like, "Fuck it, bro. Whenever you shoot, I shoot." Like, because like for them, it's just like we're selling Game Pass. We ain't selling the Xbox. We're selling Game Pass. So whenever they release, I truly think that when it comes to the announcing price, I think Sony has more to lose because everyone is so interested in Sony.
Yeah.
So what more people are more interested in Sony than they are in Microsoft.
Yeah.
So Sony needs to release a price because Xbox is just like, yo, we're just trying to sell you Game Pass. So, like, whatever. We can sell this price for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
It's Sony who needs pre-order numbers. It's Sony who needs to know, like, they literally put an order for, like, 5 million extra, like, production. Like, they need to know, like, what their numbers are hitting. I think Xbox is probably like, yo, we're sitting at maybe 2 million production. And we cool with that.
Yeah.
Like, no biggie. Yeah. So, I think it's Sony who has to release it's Sony who's probably, like, more pushed to release the price by the general audience, that they'll possibly go first, and Xbox would probably be like, all right, cool, we're $50 lower, and that's it.
Yeah, I agree. But let's see what happens, man. That needs to happen soon, because if these consoles come out supposedly in November, like they say they do, they literally only have 4 months left. We're in August. They're 3 months away, dude. These consoles launch in 3 months.
Yeah.
And there's no price, no pre-orders, no nothing. It's kind of like, no UI. Yeah. We don't even know how these fucking UIs of none of these boxes look like. So it's kind of like, yo, you guys gotta hurry up and speed this shit up.
And that's why I think Xbox is not in a rush, because if you think about it, Halo Infinite is the game that they're gonna launch with, basically. But also it's coming out to all Xboxes. To them, they're like, yo, we're already sold Halo. Like, you buy an Xbox or not, you're gonna buy Game Pass for it. at least the dollar entry, you know? Like, why not? So we already sold you on our next big game. Even if we didn't sell you on the console, like, we're done. Like,
yeah.
You know, like, and if you want the console, it's there. So, like, so Xbox is they already sold you on what they want to sell you on. It's Sony who has to be like, because all of us, I think the general audience is like, all right, for sure, PS5 day launch. But what's the price though? I think a lot of people are more sold into buying a PlayStation 5 than an Xbox. But it's always with that small aspect of like, what's the price though?
Mm-hmm.
And so everyone else though is like, all right, well, regardless of Xbox or not, I'll still get Game Pass because it's a good deal.
Yeah.
Like nobody is talking about Xbox price too much as compared when you compare it to the Sony people going and complaining to Sony like, yo, where is the pre-orders? Because people are hungry for that console. But they could fuck it up and release it too high, and people are like, "Nope, we're good. We'll wait."
Yeah, that's true.
So,
okay, let's see what happens, though, man. I don't have anything else. You got anything else to say?
Nah, I'm just excited to see what happens coming up in a couple months with these consoles. So
yeah, me too, man. I'm really excited. They need to hurry up and get the information out there.
Yeah. All right, guys. So that concludes our episode. Concludes.
Yeah, you're fine. Concludes.
Not concludes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Concludes. All right, catch us on another episode of Popcorn Heroes, guys. See you later.
Laters.